Hey guys, a very warm welcome to Arihant Online Academy. In this video lecture, we will learn about the SDLC models. There are various types of SDLC models, and here we are discussing some of the important SDLC models that may asked in your upcoming exam. And we are discussing the theoretical points of that and the important logical points for the purpose of your exam, so that you can get at least the concept of the models and how they work and other information for that, right? So let's just start with that. The very first model in the SDLC is the build and fix model, right? So in build and fix model, generally what is build and fix model? Build and fix model is just you have to write a code. You are writing a code here, right? And after writing code, you are fixing the bugs, you are correcting the errors, you are resolving some problems, means you are fixing that. After that, again you have to go to build some code, and again you have to fix that. So repeat this cycle until you get your software development product rightly implemented, right? So in build and fix model, basically specifications or the requirements here are not maintained. It is not a well defined model, but it is working randomly, that you just coding, you are just programming, you are just designing, and you are fixing the bugging. At the same time, again you are repeating the same process until your product is on the implementation part, right? So this type of approach is called as build and fix model. You can see the definition wise that many times the development of the product is like build, find bug, correct it, and again build it and repeat the process, right? Whatever we have discussed, it is not a well defined, right? So it is the very simplest type of model. The next is waterfall model. I think you all have heard the term that waterfall model. You can say that it is a sequential approach of the some stages, on which by following that you can develop model. You can also say that it is a linear sequential model, or you can also say that that it works like in stepwise step, right? So there are some stages on which this model's theory is approached. But what the specific task, specific terms in that is, once previous stages completes, at the time we have to start the next stage. Means we can't go to the next stage before completion of the first step. We will see it with the example, right? And it is not suitable for the softwares where changes are accommodating. Means in initially requirement specification should be very strong, because after developing product or meanwhile developing the software, we can't have any approach here to modify that changes, right? So the software analyst part is very suitable here. Software analyst should be experienced here, so that the requirement analysis would be very best, because in meanwhile developing software we can't change that, right? So the steps of the SDLC waterfall models are: first we will have to requirement. After completion of the all requirement analysis, we will go to the design and analysis phase. In design phase, analysis and coding will be done, and the basically in design phase all the coding, module coding, and all coding will be done. After that, implementation and unit testing will be done. Unit testing will be done on the several modules, and their implementation will be done, that it is working on the same criteria what user required or not, like that. So after performing design, we have to go to unit testing, and after unit testing we have to integrate all the modules, and then we have to done system testing, and after that we have to go to maintenance. Means after completion of the one step, we have to go to the next step. Basically it is a sequential type, you can say that, right? So, and after completion of maintenance, if further changes are came, or suppose we are in the implementation of unit testing, if changes are coming, then we can't able to approach our changes there, right? So requirement phase should be very strong. So this is the waterfall model. The next one is prototype model. Basically prototype model is just you can say that new version of the waterfall model. The new thing in this model is that in meanwhile, if you are getting changes, then you can accommodate change, right? So basically in prototype model, at the initial point you are getting a prototype model, that you have to work like that, and your final product would be like that. After that, what you have to do, you have to approach the prototype model, that what prototype model is doing, and you have to implement the larger part of that until you are getting complete software which is required to user or client, right? So in waterfall model, until last stage we did not get the working software, but in prototype model we are making a working prototype model first, and then we are developing actual software, right? So basically based on the prototype model, we are working on the actual software, but the methodology, the output, the looking wise, prototype model would be same as that of the final software. As we have earlier prototype model in this, so better to resolve errors and understanding of final product as we have our small level project in front of us. That's why. And if here quicker feedback would become, then you can accommodate that changes in meanwhile developing of the software, which we have not such facilities in waterfall model, right? So it is one of the advantage of this model, so that we can faster accommodate changes like that here. The next is iterative enhancement lifecycle model. In iterative enhancement lifecycle model, what you are doing, basically we are releasing software's working model in release wise. First you have gathered the requirement, after that design will be done, implementation, unit testing, integration, system testing, and you have released the first version of that, or you can say that you have released first version of the software that is required. After that you have again designing, means you are not getting requirement again, but if some modified enhancement should be required, then again you have to start from this design phase, implementation, unit testing, and you have released second release. After that you are repeating this until unless the modified or changes is getting, or you can say that until your full software product is get completed or implemented, you have to release such kind of several releases, right? So this is the example of iterative enhancement lifecycle model. So the basic theory is here is the software should be made in increments, where each increments add some functionality to the system until and unless the full system gets implemented, right? So this is the approach of the iterative enhancement lifecycle model. Basically in this video lecture I am just giving you approach of the several models, right? That what are the approach. If you want to read the theory, then you can visit our website, where we are in the process of getting uploading the theoretical points, important MCQs, and likewise that, and you can also able to download PDFs in future also, right? So you can visit our website and you can also download theoretical points from that, and you can also follow us on the socials, so that where we are updating regularly about the technical updates relating your exams and relating general knowledge purpose also, right? So the next is spiral model, right? So spiral model, you can generally say that it is a combination of iterative model plus sequential model. It is basically proposed by the computer scientist Barry Boehm, and in this the activities are assigned in this model are spiral, like you can, where you will see the chart of that. Then you can say that it is a spiral wise working in iterative and sequential manner. Identification of potential risk is done here, means if the project is risky, then you can do this, means the risk analysis is done here. But whether the spiral model is suitable, in which case we will choose the spiral model in SDLC model development when the project is very large. Basically the first model is waterfall model. We are using waterfall model theory where the project is small. You can only choose that model when project is small, but in spiral model you will choose this model only when the project is large and there might be some kind of changes required in meanwhile, and the releases are required frequently to the user or client, or they can say that in the meanwhile time or in the required time or deadline time you have to done that project. So in that duration, if you are completing that project, then you require a strong team, you require a strong team management there, and you have to require very experienced person so that they can handle the risk at the time of development, and several kind of projects are done under spiral model. So these are the basic approach of the spiral model, in which iterative, suppose first you are doing the analysis, then after that you are doing, suppose after analysis you are doing design, after that you are testing and you are implementing. After implementation, suppose new changes are came, then you have to repeat this process again. You have to repeat this process every time you are getting changes, every time you are getting required new release or the next version, or the, you can say that every time you have required the enhancement modification, you have to repeat this process. So basically what we are doing iterative plus sequential manner processing in that, right? So this is the example of prototype model. So I hope the 5 models that I have discussed with you are getting the approach of that. Further, if you want theoretical points or the important MCQs, we will upload it soon on our website also. That is, you can visit the website, that is www.aryantonlineacademy.com. So I hope you have get that. So in future also we will upload many more lectures to our YouTube channel as well as on our website also. So for don't missing that important lectures, updates and important alerts to you, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon button so that you can get instant updation from our side and whenever we upload new content for you. I hope further if you have any kind of queries or doubts, or you want to ask your queries, you can comment us and we'll try to solve your doubt and query as early as possible. Thank you so much guys. Have a nice day. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.